early in the offseason. 4 years, $128 million.
Wow.
This crowd is excited because this team is loaded. D'Angelo, can Wentz live up to the contract?
You know, he can live up to the contract, but for Wentz to live up to the contract, I don't think he thinks there's any pressure, but the pressure is to beat what Nick Foles did, and that was bring a championship to this city. I think he starts out on that path by winning the division, and so it starts right here against this good defensive line for the Redskins.
When you talk about that, you talk about what Nick Foles did after that 2017 season. Before Nick Foles had to step in, Carson Wentz was the most valuable player of the National Football League, and for him to get back to that, they have to be explosive in the passing game. He was had a 100 passer rating on explosive passes that year. Last year was down to 66. And then I think Doug Peterson plays a role in this. He has to design an offense that kind of helps Carson Wentz be able to get out of issues without having to put his body in harm's way. If Carson Wentz stays healthy, this team has a fast track to the Super Bowl.
Well, he's out of the shadow of Nick Foles, of course, got the deal done. Howie Roseman, I have faith in him, believing that Carson Wentz can stay healthy. Of course, there were some tweaks to his training regimen and his diet as well. But you look at this pick your poison offense. You've got Deshaun Jackson back facing the Redskins. That'll be something to keep your eye on. JJ Arcega-Whiteside, one of the standouts in the preseason. And then you've got a running game that features Miles Sanders, of course, and Jordan Howard. Should the expectation be the Super Bowl? Because I can't really poke holes in this offense.
Yeah, I mean, what else should it be? It's the Super Bowl. You have your MVP quarterback back. He's happy. He's paid. You have running backs. You have guys on the outside. And this defense can get after the quarterback. Yeah. What else do you need?
You got to go through Dallas, though.
You guys ready for a Super Bowl?
You got to go through Dallas.
There's another team with a lot of hype going into 2019. Anybody want to go to Believe Land?
Yeah, let's get it.
Let's do it. Steve Weish is live with us right now in Cleveland.
Okay, you guys are just talking about all the talent on the Eagles roster. Well, the Browns roster is loaded with talent too, but you talk to players and coaches, and they'll tell you the strength of this team is on the defensive line with Myles Garrett, Larry Ogunjobi, Sheldon Richardson, and Olivier Vernon. I spoke to defensive coordinator Steve Wilks last night, and he said they're going to have to control things against this run-heavy Titans offense, have to get to Derrick Henry before he gets to the line of scrimmage. And remember, they're going to be facing a Titans offensive line that will not have left tackle Taylor Lewan. He is out with a 4-game PED suspension. Dennis Kelly, who'll be replacing Lewan, he has 27 NFL starts, but this is his first at left tackle.
And of course, a lot of optimism with Le'Veon Bell and Sam Darnold, but this young man, Quinnen Williams, 3rd overall selection on the front end of a defense with Jamal Adams on the back, C.J. Mosley now in the middle. Big game for the Jets in 2019 with Adam Gase at the helm taking on the Bills. Kim Jones, take it away.
Rich, and finally, we will see Le'Veon Bell in a Jets uniform. His first game in 602 days. His first game, of course, since signing in free agency with the Jets in March. His first game since earlier this week when he told Adam Gase, "Don't hold me back," and added he's got 50 carries in him today. As far as the Bills go, the remarkable Frank Gore in his 15th season will carry a bulk of the load today. Adam Gase says of Gore, who he's coached before, he still looks like somehow he's 25 years old. Now for some guys who are under 25, Josh Allen and Sam Darnold. I send it back to you, Kurt Warner. Which quarterback is going to have the best game today?
I tell you what, Kim, great question. And I believe both of these guys are going to take that step forward this year. But talking about today, I'm going with Sam Darnold. I think he's a little bit more advanced as a passer right now. You mentioned it. Now he's got an offensive guy as a head coach in Adam Gase who's going to create some opportunities for him. And nothing helps a young quarterback more than a guy they can throw the ball to out of the backfield. Le'Veon Bell, I think, is going to be huge in this game. And I know the Bills had one of the top pass defenses in the league last year, so it's not going to be easy. But I'm going Sam Darnold in this one. I think he's got a chance to have a breakout year in year number 2. Now let's head up to Minneapolis, where we find Tom Pelissero.
Kurt, Vikings receiver Stephon Diggs listed as questionable with a hamstring injury, but I'm told all signs pointing toward him being active today. Same goes for Falcons star Julio Jones, who agreed yesterday to a 3-year, $66 million contract extension that makes him the NFL's highest paid receiver. Julio's going to have to earn that money today against Vikings quarterback Xavier Rhodes, who's faced Julio 3 times in his career, giving up just 5 catches for 58 yards and no touchdowns. Now, quarterback Matt Ryan told me the Vikings have had help over the top. They've made a conscious effort to to take Julio out of the game. When I told Ryan he's targeted Julio just 11 times against Rhodes in those 3 games, Ryan said, maybe that'll go up. Michael, what do you expect from Julio today?
Listen, with Julio getting that 22 milli a year, now his pay is tantamount to his play on the football field. This is a bad man. He put up 1,677 yards, led the league in receiving yards last year. But his last 4 games against the Vikings, he's only averaged 40 yards a game. That's why this is going to be a great game. Zim does not like Julio Jones going off. Now let's go to James Palmer in Jacksonville.
Well, thanks, Irv. The 2018 MVP, Patrick Mahomes, just took the field behind me seconds ago, and he had arguably his worst game of his NFL career against this Jaguars defense last year. This week, he told me that what he did is he forced footballs against a sound, fast, deep defense. He said he won't make those mistakes again. How does this team match up against those weapons? Well, it's going to be Jalen Ramsey following around Tyreek Hill for most of the game, A.J. Bouye on the other side going alongside of Sammy Watkins, who's a rejuvenated player in the Chiefs' mind. But how do they stop Travis Kelce? That's going to be the issue. Look for Miles Jack, I'm told, on 3rd down to be up against him with no help. He's talked to Jalen Ramsey, I'm told, and defensive backs coaches Mooch about how to line up against one of the best tight ends in football.
All right, James, now it's time for Mooch's Minute. Can't wait for this segment. How about this guy right here? Patrick Mahomes. You know what? He was the MVP of the National Football League last year, threw 50 touchdown passes. But you know what? Today they're playing the Jags, and the Jags held him to no touchdown passes last year and a 62 passer rating. Let's take a look at this. We got Telvin Smith messing around over here, getting his attention with a cover 2 shell, and all of the attention is like over here. Well, you know what? They surprised him with the nickel blitz off the edge here. Nobody protects him, and he goes, whoa, that's an incomplete pass. Kind of fooled him a little bit there. Now get a little bit further into the red zone. They're going to bluff this same nickel blitz. And Patrick Mahomes says, you're not going to fool me this time. I'm going to redirect the protection, and we're going to slide over there. But you know what? It's a bluff. They're going to play coverage. So now Patrick Mahomes running for his life. He's covered. Throw the ball away. Take a big hit. Whoa, that's good disguise by defense. Now you got to contain this guy too. Watch Dante Fowler. He says, I'm not going to go for that run. I'm going to contain the quarterback right here and make him pull up and throw a pass that's inaccurate behind the receiver. And A.J. Bouye intercepts this thing. Man, the Jags did a heck of a job containing Patrick Mahomes last year, and we'll see if they can do it again. And he knows that. He looked at the film. Here comes Patrick Mahomes arriving in Duval County. He says, I got to play better than I did last year if I want to win another MVP. Amble arriving for work in Duval County. This guy's big, and you know what? This guy's awesome.
For $110 guaranteed $1 million. What are you going to do? I'm going to go buy this shirt. Or get it from Mike Silver.
All right, yeah, well, I'm the coach here, Sean McVay. He was the coach of the year a couple of years ago, and he's a happy camper. He's got his quarterback under contract. His running back is healthy. He can't wait to play this game in Carolina.
The 2016 NFL MVP, the Matro.
Yeah, the boy.
To take on Mike Zimmer and the guys in Minnesota.
He doesn't like it anymore, by the way. Well, I don't think he ever liked it, actually.
Big man on campus right there. Big man on campus. When he's running with that football, get out of the way.
And there he is, a man who we assume woke up dangerous today, taking on the Tennessee Titans.
Show that baby why.
Sunday Night Football, the Patriots against the Steelers. Mike Giardi already stationed at Gillette. Mike?
Good morning, Rich. And as I reported yesterday afternoon, the Patriots had interest in trading for Antonio Brown when he was made available back in March, but the Steelers did not want to make a move in conference. They shipped him out to the Raiders. Of course, now he ends up in New England for nothing but money. And I just want you to put this in your head. Football nirvana. I know you can't rule out personality, but all of a sudden, Tom Brady, the most accurate quarterback in the National Football League, throwing to his choice of Josh Gordon, Julian Edelman, James White, and of course now Antonio Brown, helps make up for the loss of Rob Gronkowski, who was the ultimate bailout option. Rich?
All right, Mike, thanks very much. It took 15 seasons, but for the first time since coming off the campus of Miami of Ohio and etching himself into the lore of Western PA, Ben Roethlisberger is going to start an NFL season without a single teammate with 3,000 receiving yards or 3,000 rushing yards on his career resume. You bet. The Steelers' 2019 season rests squarely on the figurative shoulders and literal right arm of the now first ballot Hall of Famer who sat down last week with Andrea Kramer before all the preseason finale drama in Oakland with his former teammate.
With abandon, presented by Wrangler. And Michael, I'll start with you because there's some changes over there in Pittsburgh, right? But will Juju and James Conner be able to replace these great players, Lev Bell and AB?
And you hear Barron talking about it. Replacing them, it means a multitude of things. Now, yes, they can replace the numbers. Juju last year had over 1,400 yards, and James Conner's averaged 113 scrimmage yards per game. They can replace the numbers. When I was there in Pittsburgh visiting for camp, I was watching his practice, Kurt, and what I noticed is after every play, Juju's not only taking care of his business, he's going to talk to all of these other guys now because he is the leader. He said to me, he said, man, I'm 22 years old, and I have to go to guys that are 27 and 28 years old to tell them things on how to do things because he is the leader now. You can put up those numbers, but you got to also lead and win football games, and that I'm waiting to see.
And Lev Bell was a versatile back, do-it-all kind of guy, right? And they replaced him last year with James Conner. And James, you know what? You mentioned it, Mike. 113 scrimmage yards per game. That was sixth best in the National Football League. Yeah, you replaces Lev Bell, who had 129 in his career. That's hard to follow. But this guy's not chopped liver, you know, and then they like to throw the ball. Ben likes to throw for 5,000 yards a year, so that running back better be able to catch. He had 55 catches last year, so it's going to be fun to see Juju and James Conner carry the load, Kurt.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting as well. And you talk about numbers, and numbers can mean lots of different things.
Right.
To me, it's about when you get the numbers, and that's what I look for. Le'Veon Bell is so big in so many different ways, especially for Ben in the passing game. And AB, I've talked about it a lot. He was big at big-time moments. When they needed plays to be made, he made them. It wasn't just about how many yards he got in a game. It was when he got those yards and when he got those catches. And that's really what I'm paying attention to with this team. They're going to need those guys to step up at big moments. Can they do that? That's what it means to replace the big-name guys that they've lost.
Okay, well, you know who's arriving right now at U.S. Bank Stadium? Your cousin. All right. Kirk Cousins,
Hey,
right here for the Vikings. They're going to